Hey everyone, this is how to play alternate game modes of Nostalgix. Ready, set, go. We're going to start with quick play. Set up a game like usual. The goal is still to either defeat your opponent's hero or a number of their fighters. But in quick play, both players' heroes start with half health rounded up. The prize counters have also been reduced from 10 to 5. The only other change to the rules is that the mana now goes up by 2 every turn instead of 1. Quick play games are what we primarily teach the game with at conventions and serve as a bite-sized way to play the game. Next, we're going to turn the speed dial to 11 with Blitz Mode. This game mode is pure chaos in the best of ways. So you set up a game like usual. The goal remains to defeat your opponent's hero at their full health or 10 of their fighters. Each turn, players draw until they have 5 cards in their hand. If they already have 5, draw 1. Consider it a permanent tutorial level arena in play. Additionally, each turn a player's mana fully fills to 10. Maximum mana every single turn. So get ready to rumble. This game mode is insanely fun and really prioritizes evolution and action. 2v2 team battles. So you begin play with your teammate sitting on the same side of the table as you. Both players on a team share the same play area and game state. However, they are now 2 play mats connected, allowing for up to 14 fighters and 12 back row cards to exist. Each hero starts with half their health rounded up, and prize counters remain at 10 per team. Roll dice to see who goes first. The highest roller goes first, followed by the highest roller on the opposing team, then the highest roller's teammate, and then the opposing highest roller's teammate. In this way, play kind of bounces back and forth between teams. Mana goes up by 1 anytime either of the players on a team starts a turn, with the maximum new mana of 20. What makes this mode especially intense is that either player may attack with any fighter their team plays. They can evolve them, they can sacrifice them, even surprise cards can be activated by either player. It's as if you're playing a single game with 2 minds instead of 1. And if a player's hero is destroyed, that player can no longer take turns. However, the cards they played remain in play to be used by the remaining teammate. This one is a lot of fun. Multiplayer games. So our game was actually built with multiplayer in mind. And to start a game of multiplayer, simply find 2 or more friends and set up like usual. Before you draw and shuffle your decks, each player must search their deck for a level 1 fighter that costs 1 or 2 mana and place it on the field. If your deck does not have one of these, you'll be wide open to attack, but totally your call. Roll dice to determine who goes first and rotate turn order clockwise from the first player. The player who goes last gets a +1 temporary mana counter. Players may only attack a player who has completed their turn. For games with up to 4 players, your standard hero health and 10 prize counters should work just fine. But in the interest of time, for games with more than 4 players, you may opt to reduce all heroes' health by 5 and the prize counters by 1 for each additional player past the 4th. So invite some friends over, make it a night, and I hope you all have a ton of fun in this new game mode. Single player. Have you ever wanted to battle your collection or play test your deck against a new and powerful foe? This is the way. So you're going to set up your side of the field like usual. For all intents and purposes, your gameplay setup will not change. Your opponent will be the main driving force of this challenge. So organize your collection into 7 different piles. Pile 1, spells. Pile 2, surprises. Pile 3, equipment. Pile 4, fighters that cost between 1 and 3 mana. Pile 5, fighters that cost between 4 and 5 mana. Pile 6, fighters that cost between 6 and 7 mana. And pile 7, fighters that cost 8 or more mana. Shuffle each pile and then draw 7 cards from each pile. Place these 7 piles on your opponent's playmat, covering the current and maximum mana bars. Your opponent has a hero with 40 health and no abilities, so select any hero to be this placeholder. And now, your opponent's all set up. You, as the player, go first. Take your first turn as you typically would, but at the end of your turn, roll d10s to determine how your opponent's deck plays. For d10 rolls 1 through 7, play a card from that corresponding pile. For a roll of 8, give yourself +8 mana on the following turn. For a roll of 9, perform a grand action such as binding all fighters in play, board wiping, or healing everything. Get creative. For a roll of 10 or 0 on the dice, simply do nothing. The number of d10s you roll depends on where your maximum mana is at the end of your turn. The number of d10s increases as the game progresses, increasing the difficulty. For maximum manas of 1 to 3, just roll 1 d10. For maximum manas of 4 to 7, roll 2. And for 8 or greater maximum mana, roll 3 d10s. During your opponent's turn, you will of course be making the moves for your collection, and holes in game logic may appear due to this unique setup, but we've made an effort to try to seek these out and give you recommendations for each. When resolving the order of the dice, resolve from lowest to highest. If it wasn't already evident from the piles, no arenas. However, if you play them, your opponent will simply choose not to use them. Equipment cards played by your opponent auto-attach to the leftmost fighter they control, or their hero if there is none. Surprises played by your opponent play face up and auto-activate the first chance they can without prejudice. Fighters played by the opponent play in the leftmost available fighter slot and attack every turn they are able. If a fighter has multiple attacks, roll a die, odd or even, to pick which is used. Evolution doesn't exist. All fighters fighters drawn are played regardless of evolution level for your opponent. Cards that search the opponent's deck or draw cards do nothing. If you, the player, avoids a card from the top of your opponent's deck, like with Baby Card Dragon, then you simply pick a pile of theirs and void the top card of it. If your opponent plays a card that brings a card back from the void or warrants a choice, pick the highest mana cost of the available cards. If the opponent is unable to play a card from a pile, the dice roll is subtracted by 1 and that effect is used. If the opponent has no cards in a pile, each time a draw would be attempted, the player takes a prize counter. And the first player to defeat the opponent's hero or take 10 prize counters wins. So best of luck with these new ways to play. In the end, we as a game company make cards for you to enjoy. As long as you're having fun with them, we're doing our job right. These new game modes are not a comprehensive, rigid list. It's flexible. So if you want to make house rules or mix and match game modes, create your own banned cards, or even custom cards, more power to you. Let us know if you come up with anything really fun over on discord.gg/NostalgixTCG. Play on heroes. Until next time, Zaba out.